Well, hello, Coffee Time friends. How y'all doing? It's Friday night. I know soup probably ain't the most outrageous meal, but I've been wanting it. You ever crave some good vegetable soup? Let's come out here on this cutting board. I've been craving some good vegetable soup. And I just want to, this is not going to be our usual vegetable soup. Mama always fixes it. She puts macaroni in it and stuff like that. I'm just wanting a hearty vegetable soup. So this is just going to be probably just more like what I'm making up tonight. Because I just am craving some good vegetable soup. And so I'm putting a little bit of cabbage that we have left in there, in here. I'm just going to start loading my pot. I'm just going to load the pot as I go. And here's my pot. This is a Tupperware pot. Some of y'all didn't know Tupperware so cookware. This is one of them. Right there it says Tupperware. And I love this big stock pot for really a lot of reasons. It's got the measurements in here. And I just like to make soup in it. It holds a lot. It's a good pot. Let's put our cabbage in here. Now I'm just going to do a potluck soup tonight. Basically, I have just taken what I could find in the refrigerator. I had some tomatoes left over. This is an onion we used part of the other night. And I'm just going to... do y'all ever do that at the end of the week? Rob the refrigerator, whatever's in there, throw it in the pot. Don't they call that mulligan stew or something? Am I making that up? They call it something like that. But if it's a vegetable and it's in the refrigerator, tonight it's going to find its way in this pot. And it's going to have some good tomato juice in it. I think I'm just wanting that comfort food, that warm comfort food that just makes you feel so good. Mama is with her girls tonight. They are having girls' night out. They used to do this all the time before COVID. They did it once a week, every week. And COVID came along and kind of shut the whole thing down. And Mama misses it, and I miss it for her. Because I know she loves her friends. She loves to get together. I don't want that, whatever that is, that little bit of the onion. Don't want that. I don't think this is going to be enough onion. I think I'm going to have to use the other part. Because it was just about a half of an onion to start with. So that wasn't even a fourth of it. I'm going to grab this other little piece here. I'm going to chop him up too. And then I'm going to put some of our usual soup things in here. Can y'all see what I'm doing? Tonight is just cook and chat. That's all we're doing. Cooking and chatting. I love to cook and chat. Always have. I used to, before Facebook and all that, I'd get somebody on the phone and get to talking and get to cooking, and I'd cook enough for an army. And then I'd say, what are you going to do with all that food? And then I'd eat on it for a week because I didn't want to waste anything. This is a Vidalia onion. One of them sweet ones. Just doing my rough chop on it. I know y'all gonna say, John, your chopping skills. Ooh, what's wrong with you? But this is them. This is them right here. My skill level. Take something large and keep poking it with this sharp knife till it gets small. That's my culinary skills. I know people do them fancy cuts and whoo, on them onions, and I've watched them 1,000 times. I think, next time I may try that. I ain't trying it. I ain't trying it. Last time I tried doing that business, I about cut my hand. Sometimes you just got to know your skill level. My skill level is take something large and keep hitting it with a knife like this until it's smaller. And I know some of you are insanely jealous of my knife skills. Nobody is insanely jealous of my knife skills. Alright. course, rocket. Onions just a flying everywhere. Now, Mama will eat some of this soup. She might even eat some tonight, but maybe not. I don't know. It may be too late. She probably will eat there. I think they always have something good to eat. So right now, it's just onions and cabbage. This was some tomatoes that was left over in the refrigerator. Put it in our little Tupperware bowl, and they're just as fresh. Oh, that smells so good. I love tomatoes. Y'all know that. I don't have to tell you that. I'm putting a lot of tomatoes in here, actually. Now let's get to opening some things. While we chat, y'all don't have to see this mess, do you? It's Friday. It's the weekend. Sometimes my favorite part of the weekend is Friday night. I love Friday night. And I'm not meaning to say that to you people who have to work tomorrow. I've worked most of my life on Saturdays. The only day I've not worked most of my life on is Sundays. And I did work on Sundays for a long time. When you work in a restaurant, you work on Sundays because that's when people come to eat. I never did like it, but I always done it because that's what you did. I was trying to go to church and then go straight to work. But sometimes it didn't work out that way. Okay. Why are you having trouble with this? Alright, there you go. No trouble, no trouble. In goes another diced tomatoes. That was a part of a diced tomato. What did we have that on salad last night? That was a leftover from that can. Now, I always take my cans, if you may not be able to do this, but I stick the lid to, even though I have unsealed it and there's no sharp edges and all that stuff, I always try to keep some little fur baby from being, I don't even want a skunk or nothing tortured. I mean, they're wild animals, but they deserve not to be tortured. And that'd be awful to have your head stuck in a can. And you see that all the time. It's pitiful. I just don't want that. A possum, a coon, raccoon. You know, them little, they get in them garbage cans, and of course there's a good aroma in that can. They think they stick the head in, they can pull it out, but sometimes they can't. Sometimes they can't. This is just some veg oil from Save-A-Lot. I could not find a can of corn in this whole house. Now, Mama will come back, and I'll say, Mama, I couldn't find a can of corn in this whole house, and she'll lead me somewhere, and there'll be a whole case of it. And I'm like, how? I looked everywhere, you know, everywhere. This is some good veg oil, though. It's got celery, it's got everything in it. Wonderful taste. Look at that. Love it. So this is more or less a canned opening soup. I'm going to put some green beans in there that are Mama's home canned green beans. But tonight, I just want a quick, simple supper. Do y'all ever do that? Now, what's this not open? What's it? I can tell. Maybe it is. Oh, it did. That is some kidney beans, just light red kidney beans. I'm putting them juice and all right in here. I like kidney beans in my soup. Dark kidney beans, light kidney beans, some kind of kidney beans. I don't mind other kinds of beans in there too. I'll take any kind. Pinto, white northern. Now, usually, Mama would not, and she's changed a little bit on this kind of stuff. Normally, Mama would not want canned potatoes, but you know, we started using these canned potatoes for lots of things. Where'd y'all go? Thank you for coming back. And everybody has access to these. Everybody don't have real potatoes. And for soup, I have no problem with these. I will fry these. Y'all see me do it. So I have no problem using the canned potatoes in the soup. And these are good and chunky. They're the big round ones. You can buy pieces. I'm going to go ahead and put those right there on top. Let me show you what I'm doing. So I'm putting them right here on top like that. And then I'm just going to take my knife and go right here on top of them. And I'm just going to slice them in the pot, because that is easy and I don't have to grab hold of them. There's not that many of them, and they will cook away a little bit when they get hot and they get boiling in there. So this is just going to give me a little chunks of potatoes. Tonight is a simple supper, but a good homemade supper. It's something that most everybody can do. I don't know why you couldn't do this unless you didn't have a can opener, because this is pretty simple stuff here. Pretty simple fixings, but boy, is it going to be good. I guess what I'm trying to say is, don't let the word homemade or pot of good vegetable soup scare you off. It can be something as simple as this. I mean, you can open up a can of corn. If I had it, I would. Everything don't have to be the same. Every time you make something, even though you're a wonderful cook, every time you make soup, you don't have to spend all day. Now, we do have soup that we do. Sometimes we spend a lot of time on it. We make meat and let it brown. We do all that. But you don't have to do it every time. Sometimes you can take the easy route. And if nobody else has ever told you you could, let me tell you, you can. Even Mama has decided everything don't have to be absolutely hard anymore. When I was a kid, we got tater tots at school. That was when you got your tater tots. Mama wouldn't have tater tots. No frozen, nothing like that. Even French fries. She'd cut up potatoes. And we'd have her homemade fries. So, Mama felt guilty for doing anything that wasn't the hard way. And I've kind of gotten her out. I'm going to put a half of this in there right now. And we're going to see what that does for us. I've tried to get her out of thinking that everything that she cooks has to be done the hard way. And I'll say, Mama, you can take a shortcut. No. I admit, homemade is best. Fresh is best. But sometimes, look at that. Now, folks, ain't nothing wrong with that soup. And I'm just going to enjoy it. So good. Sometimes it's okay to take the quick and easy. Or just add something that is a shortcut. Now, these are frozen peas. And they are frozen because I didn't set them out. Did not set them out. But I like frozen peas in soup. I actually looked for a whole bag of frozen vegetables. That's what I was thinking of. And I didn't find any. Didn't find any. Mama's probably got them. She'll say, well, they were right in there. And I said, Mama, I couldn't find them. Well, right there they are. She's got a way about her. I think all mamas have that way. I'm not going to put all those in there. I mean, we're not just having pea soup. We're having vegetables. So I think that's a good amount of peas. Probably the equivalent of a can or more if they weren't frozen. And they're delicious. Now I'm going to get a spoon over here. And I'm going to add a little bit of bouillon. I said a spoon. I said I was going to get a spoon. Am I? Huh. Yeah, here's one left. Alright, so I'm going to use a little bit of this. This is Knorr's tomato bouillon chicken. Now, I know I said vegetable soup. I know that. But chicken and vegetable soup is mighty good. This is the equivalent of a bouillon cube. And I'm putting him right in there. This is tomato bouillon. So I'm going to put what I think is equivalent of 2. And this just happens to be Knorr brand. That's just going to flavor it up a little bit in bouillon. Alright, then I dropped the set out of Mama's ring. for her tonight since she wasn't here to do it. Then I'm going to put y'all's Southern Secret, which this is onion and garlic. And I'm going to put a goodly amount of this in. I'll tell you, this is like half a tablespoon. And I'm going to put a whole tablespoon of it in there. Most time I shake, not tonight. We're doing soup tonight. You got to really flavor that up. Alright? Now, folks, believe it or not, that's all I'm going to put in here, except a little bit of cracked black pepper. That's just going to give us that flavor. Do you notice I didn't put any salt? Don't know how salty that bouillon granules are. This is my first time using it in soup. But I'm going to take this over to the stove. And I'm going to let it heat up. And when it gets good and boiling, this is going to be supper. Now, I can already tell you. So let's look in here. So I can already tell you that ain't enough tomato juice. That ain't enough. I want it soupy. Because that's one of my favorite things is having lots of soup in my soup. That looks a little better. Now there's no water. There's nothing but tomato juice in that soup. Cabbage. Y'all seen what I had there. Now let's take one gander in the refrigerator. Anything that's a vegetable in there, it's gotta come out of there. Woo, there's so much in here. Let's see here. That's chicken. I knew you were in here, green beans. You're really the one I came for. Let's see, is there any other vegetable? Nope, I believe that's it. Anything else needs to be added to the cows? Well, I know one thing. I just got the drawer off track. Watch me tear up that refrigerator. Mama put me on track. These are just peanut green beans. Into the pot they go. A good soup or stew is a wonderful way to get rid of those leftovers. If you even have meat or something you want to add to it, you could. I'm just going to stir them in there. Now look, folks. This is a good pot of soup. That wasn't that much. Now, let's take it over to the stove. I'm going to let you peek in the pot. There it is. There it is. That's the goodness. Y'all sit right there for just a second. Because we're going over here to the stove. We're going to start this on high. And see how long it takes. Y'all may not get to see the absolute finished product because that soup's got to soup for a while. But we're going to let it cook while we chat a minute. And then I'll start all the cleanup and get all this stuff put back where it goes. Let's see what y'all are saying. Where's Mama tonight? Debbie, she is out with the girls. This is girls' night out, they call it. Friday night. And she will be out with the girls tonight. They're usually about another hour or so she should be home. Sometimes a little later. And what they do is, I just found out last night talking to her, they play bingo, and somehow or another they use cards to draw the numbers. And they just play bingo, and they all take a little Dollar Tree gift, something like that. And they'll play so many games, and somebody wins. And it's just for fun. They used to do it with Phase 10 card game in Now, and I think they've always played bingo at their house. Now, this ain't no parlor or there's no gambling. It's just good Christian women sitting around having a good time, laughing and enjoying. And Mama comes home in a great mood because she's been with her friends and they've laughed and enjoyed the evening. Isn't that a wonderful thing to have good friends to enjoy good times with? Don't y'all let me forget about that soup. Now, hopefully everyone that watches knows why. Yeah, I'm taller than the camera. People always ask me, why do you always sit down, John? People even ask, are you able to walk? I'm blessed to walk. I really am. I'm tall. I'm 6'3" of the morning. I may be 6'2" of the evening. But Mama's 5'2". So to get both of us on the camera, it looks something like this. Here's Mama and here I am. Hey. And then the food is down here. Now, I don't know if y'all have ever tried to film yourself cooking. And you may think, well, that'd be easy. It's a lot harder than you think when you're trying to show the food, show everybody, and talk and communicate. So that's why a lot of times I stay here because I'm the same height as Mama when I'm sitting down. So she can stand here and cook. I can turn the camera. I can prepare things here. And then another reason is Mama is really, she just really territorial in her kitchen. She likes to cook in her kitchen and she wants to have all the space. So if we're both in there, over there, milling around, inevitably she'll be standing there going, you're in my way, move. You got that camera right my way. Y'all hear her when I'm over there. So I try to just stay on this side. But this has been my whole life. I sit here. Used to we had a smaller little island and it was sort of silent. And I sat on that side and Mama would hand me chores to do when I started out cooking or helping. And it was always chopping onions, tomatoes, chopping, slicing, dicing, whatever she needed me to do. And that worked out great. So I've always been Mama's little helper chef. And now sometimes there's certain meals that I predominantly prepare. And Mama will sit over here sometimes. Not often. Most of the time she's milling around. But she will, and I used to tell her and Maggie both, I'd say, in this whole house, we all three have to stand in the same spot because we'd all be over in that corner. Do y'all do that? I mean, I'm sure it's a common occurrence in every household. Needing prayers. Oh, I'm so sorry, Sarah. She's lost her brother. Y'all sent brother-in-law yesterday. Prayers for my sister. Oh, and her sons. Sarah, we'll be praying for you all. Do y'all do that in your kitchens? Do you find the whole family gathers up one corner? Hey, some of my favorite folks. Well, hello, Angela. How are you, Angela Tucker? Making soup Monday. I've been wanting soup for several weeks, seems like. But Mama says we've had enough soup. And we did have pea soup, we had potato soup. But this is just good old-fashioned vegetable soup. And so I asked her tonight, I said, what are we cooking? I asked her earlier today, I said, what are we cooking tonight? And she said, oh, what you're cooking? I'm going to the girls. I said, well, Mama, what am I going to eat? And she said, there's stuff in there for soup. You've been wanting soup? I thought, oh, that's my cue. Make us some soup. So she'll eat some tomorrow. And soup will just keep on being good. And we've got homecoming this weekend at church. So we're going to be making a turkey. And some more dressing. Believe it or not, how can you make as much dressing as we have this 2 weeks? We're going to make some more dressing for homecoming and a turkey. And I think maybe mashed potatoes and more cornbread, I think. So we're going to be cooking a lot tomorrow, cooking a lot Sunday morning early, and we'll share all that with you, Lord willing. And so tonight, I'm just wanting some soup. And then that way tomorrow, we'll already have lunch made. Soup's in the refrigerator. And we can just eat a sandwich with it and be preparing for dressing and whatever else Mama wants me to make tomorrow. So if you join us tomorrow, that's what we're going to probably be doing. is turkey, which y'all can watch that for your Thanksgiving, and dressing. You just seen that. You may not want to watch us do dressing again. I don't know. Do y'all want to see dressing again? But we'll be doing turkey dressing, probably some mashed potatoes, and probably cornbread, I think. And there might be something else she had to take. I'm not sure. But so we got a lot of cooking this weekend. So I'm trying to think ahead. This will be supper tonight, and it'll be good for tomorrow too. So that'll be good. And I just been wanting some good soup. Let's see. I froze y'all up. I'm sorry. Will it be dressing or stuffing since you're roasting the bird? It will be dressing, Renda. We have never done stuffing that I ever remember in my life. And the only difference that I know of between dressing and stuffing is you stuff the stuffing in the bird and you cook it in all those juices. And that's where, so people will do it that way. We just make cornbread dressing in a pan, then we cut it out or dip it out. Either way. And that's our traditional Thanksgiving dressing. And we make it with cornbread, and we try to do our cornbread in an iron skillet because it gets good and hot. A lot of people don't like a lot of the crust on the cornbread for dressing, but we just mix it right in there. I know some people just use the inside of the cornbread, but we use it all. And we make pones of biscuit bread, which, as you all know, we call pone bread. Not cornbread, but pone bread, which is biscuit. And you can use that for a meal. We use that sometimes, biscuit bread. If we, traditionally in my whole life, if we had ham and sweet potatoes, we had pone bread, a pone of biscuit bread. So anytime Mama fixed that for supper, I knew we was having pone bread. There's other things she fixes it with, and sometimes just for morning, for breakfast, she'll fix a pone of biscuit bread. It's definitely a lot easier. It's quicker. It's quicker than canned biscuits, if you can believe it. Because all you literally do, stir up your flour, put your little butter in it, or Crisco in it, like you do biscuits, and put a little buttermilk, stir it up till it's thin, and it'll pour it into your hot skillet and put it in the oven. That's it. It's just like making your same recipe for biscuits, except you put it in a iron skillet and throw it in the oven, and it'll come out in a beautiful pone, just like cornbread. I even make half and half pones. If I'm making dressing a lot of times, and I think, well, I need probably a little over 2 pounds of cornbread for the dressing and a pone and a half of biscuit bread, if I'm estimating, then I'll just make one of them, and I'll take my hot iron skillet. I'll mix up my biscuit bread. I'll mix up my cornbread, and I'll pour them in at the same time. They meet in the middle, and you have half and half pones. I made one about a month ago when we had dressing. I know that we've had a lot of dressing here lately, but that's what we did, and that's the way it works well. Same. I always make. I can't read all that. Why do y'all not make gravy? Always got to have gravy with dressing. We do. We do make gravy with our dressing. Mama likes gravy with hers too. And we mix a pork gravy and a chicken gravy, or a beef gravy and a chicken gravy for that good blend. Hey, Gloria. That's what we do. Dad makes dressing with sage. Oh, Cheryl, we use lots of sage. John, check your soup. You probably are right, but it had to heat. But let's go check it anyway. Because if I don't, and y'all reminded me, y'all be doing me like Mama and saying, we told you to check that soup. Let's touch this right here, and we're going to check our soup. I think it's getting hot because the lid is. Oh, it's starting to bubble. One of y'all was good to tell me that. Now, that's all got to cook. None of that was pre-cooked. You all seen me do that in real time. So that cabbage has got to soften. Those onions have got to get good and iridescent. Nothing in it really should take a long time to cook, but it does have to cook. I just seen one thing I need. My opinion. Y'all hold right there. Here, I'll let y'all watch the soup for me. till I get back, okay? I'll be right back, I promise. I didn't leave. This soup needs some carrots. So let's put a can of carrots in there. Wash that good. Let's get this lid off. For some reason I thought the veg aisle would have enough carrots, but it really don't. Because I love carrots. A friend of mine was here yesterday, and they were talking, him and Mama was talking about different foods, and he is really a picky eater. He don't like chunks of anything. Mama finds that hard to believe, that somebody would be a picky eater, because she's not used to picky eaters. And she mentioned carrots in soup, and he said, "Oh, I hate carrots. They taste like dirt." I said, "Well, you just haven't had the right carrots, because these are delicious." But, yeah, it needed carrots. Ah, that already makes it look better. Look at that whole potato there. You skipped a whole potato and you're cutting up, John. What's wrong with you? Let's cut that potato up. It's tender, but I want it to be smaller. Okay. I didn't see any more. We did do enough peas. Look at that. It's plenty of peas in there. Now, technically, I thought I was going to make a little kettle of soup. But I won't make a very big one. So this is my attempt at a small kettle of soup, if that tells you anything. This is my attempt at doing small portions. But when you put a can and a can and a can, and we ain't through yet, I might end up putting something else if I think of it, but I just looked in there and I thought, that needs some carrots. Is that potato too big? Cut that one down to size. Okay. Now, this is not Mama's vegetable soup by no means. Mama would have real potatoes for sure, and she'd cook them in a separate pot. That's one thing I can tell you about if you're making soup. If you're making soup and you're going to put potatoes in it, you want to make sure that I'll be able to hear it now boiling. But if you're making soup and you're going to put potatoes in it, I recommend you put your potatoes in a separate pot. Boil them in a separate pot. Put them in a colander. Rinse them really well. Because that starch in the potatoes will thicken that soup. Do you ever have times when you've made soup, it's really good the night you eat it, you put it in a Tupperware container, you put it in the refrigerator, the next day you get out and it's like Jello. It's like, who made my soup into a Jello mold? That could be because of your potato starch. So I always fix the potatoes in a separate pot till they're done, or almost done. They don't have to be completely done. I rinse them well. I turn them, I rinse them well. And then I put them back in my soup. I put them in the soup from their separate pot. Because if you put your potatoes in there, they are going to thicken your soup. So if you want the same integrity as the day you cook it, try that little trick. See if it works for you. It always works for me. We also put lima beans, okra, carrots, potatoes, and lots of something. Lots of onions. I did put lots of onions really for that soup. All that sounds good, and I would put any of that in mine too. John used V8 juice as the base. Who said that? Gail. I don't like that. I know. This is another one of my crazy things. Even though I'm putting all that same stuff in it, and I do like V8 juice just to drink, but I don't like the V8 juice in my soup. I think it tastes like celery when I do it that way. It's too celery for me. Now the V8 juice is good, but and that is a trick if you're looking for extra flavor and stuff. But I've tried it that way in the past. I even got the vegetable juice, which is like V8 juice, but it's the Tipton has some, I believe, in our Savalon. I don't like any of that in there, but that's just me being crazy. You know, you all probably would like that. That is a good flavor saver, Gail. So thanks for sharing that with us. But I just don't like that. I like to add a packet of onion soup mix. Adds good flavor. Well, Leland, that sounds good. That sounds really good. I don't know if Mama's getting that or not, but I love the soup after the potatoes thicken it up. Oh, so you like thick soup, Linda? So you leave your potatoes in there, right? I don't. I want soup. And if we, before we really realized the potatoes was the thing, we would always add a can of tomato juice the next day to make it soupy again. I don't like the thick. I'm coming over. Audrey, come on over. I'm sure there'll be a bowl or two of this left. Did you see all that soup? That's a good tip. I've never done that with potatoes. Melissa, if you like it thick, then just leave them in there. Don't go through the extra trouble. If you don't, then that starch is going to be your thickener. Did you live... Wait, come back here. Do you live with Mama? Donna, I do. I do. Corn too, Teresa. Yeah, corn is the same way. It's starchy. It's going to thicken your soup. I didn't have a can of corn. I would have thrown it in there. Yeah, I live with Mama. Mama is perfectly capable. She's driven herself tonight. She can do all those things. She just went through, and she's not done it, thank the Lord, in a long time. And she lived here by herself for over a year after my dad passed. Well, her and Maggie was here. And I would come over every day and check on her, or most every day. And she's very independent. And I don't have to, But she wakes up. Her sugar drops the quickest. Her sugar dropped one evening here. And she was fine. And she said, I'm going to have something sweet. And I could tell. And I looked at her and I knew immediately. And so got her some juice and she was fine. She wakes up in the middle of the night and she knows something's wrong. And she jumps up to go get her something sweet. And then she falls. And she was scared one night. Someone knocked on the door at 11:30. And at that time, there was people going around knocking on doors. And when people answered the door, there was robbing them. So she called me in a panic, said, somebody knocked on the door. Well, I just lived 3 minutes from here. I mean, just around the block. And I was here in 2 minutes. I was here. And I didn't find nothing. I'm sure somebody knocked because Maggie took a fit, she said. But, okay, we're back. So that night I stayed with her. I said, I'll just stay over here tonight. So I did, and the next day she said, oh, you can go on home. I'm fine. I said, okay, I will. And so we sat here, ate supper. I don't think we was doing coffee time then. No, we wasn't. And we ate supper it was in the winter, so it was dark early and everything. And I said, I'll stay and take Maggie out. You don't have to get back out and all those things. And she said, okay, your stuff's here. So I thought, I'll stay tonight just to make sure everything's good. And that night, I hear a clunk, plunk, 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 about 3 o'clock, and I jumped up, sprung out of bed, because I didn't know what in the world. And I got to the hall before I really woke up. You know how you are. And I heard her holler, "It's okay. Go on back to bed. I'm fine." I said, "What was that?" "I'm fine. Go on back to bed." I go in there and she has fallen backwards over a heater that was on. It was one of those kind that the heat comes out of a little box in the bottom, and then it's got a fake fireplace, so it wasn't hot on top where she was, thank the Lord. And it had kicked off when it fell over, but yet, you know. And I walked in there, I said, "You're fine. You're laying on top of a heater. And you want me to just go back to bed and leave you lay there? Is that what you're saying, Mama?" "I'll get up on my own. I am fine." Well, I knew her sugar was low. So I helped her up right quick, put her on the bed. I got her some orange juice. I got her sugar regulated. And then I said, "Mama, what if I had been at home? You won't even let me help you. And me here, how can I trust you?" "No, I'm fine. If I was really hurt, I would have called you." That was a lie. She would never have called me. So I stayed another night or two, and then she fell into the dresser. She got up with low sugar. Her sugar was really out of whack. So we got an appointment. We got her sugar regulated. We switched to diet pop. She hasn't had those problems since. She did fall at church. But when Mama is not, when her sugar is not right, it's really not right. You know, it's quick and it happens. And that's the reason, like, when she goes to one at a time, I said, "Mama, you call me before you leave so I can see how you're doing." "Okay, I will." And she does. She's good about that because she knows, for one, it would worry me. And she knows what she does. How it just drops out on her. Look at this soup, folks. It's boiling, boiling, boiling good. Oh, it smells so good. It really smells good. Now that's boiling with the lid off, but I am able to stir it down. That's how you know it's not at a rolling boil, because I was able to stir it down. But it'll kick right back up. So anyhow, long story long, I did move over here. Mama's got room. And literally, she has her TV area. I have mine. We don't dislike each other at all. But if you wanted to live separately in this house, you almost could. She's even got a canning kitchen in the garage if you need your own separate kitchen. So and the company's good, and it's just a good situation for her and me. Alright, so that is boiling well. Let's try a little sample, because look, it's coming right back up. I don't know how close we are. One thing we know for sure, it's hot. Let's try it. Always sample, do a little quality control, they say, or tests for poison. That's a joke. It's good. It could use a little salt, because tomatoes love salt, potatoes love salt. So it can use a little salt. Let's try a little salt. I don't know how much. I really can't tell what I'm doing with that. Let's try a pinch of salt. Just a pinch. Little dab will do you. It almost had enough. It just needed just a little kick. I think we're about done. Did you all see that? I had stacked those up in there. And in the middle of cooking, then it, well, I can't get to it that close. In the middle of cooking, probably vibration and knocked everything loose. I don't trust it. I probably shouldn't. Let's put a little bit of this. This is some Trader Joe's spice. It's pretty good. And of course we put our, y'all, Southern Secret for our onion and garlic blend. That was a complete spice or something they call it. It's got all the spices in it. It's got a little sage and everything in it, which is good for soup. Let's try us a little drop. Wow, that little bit of salt, that little bit of complete with that touch of sage. That's delicious. I think we're ready to eat, folks. Let's bowl us up some. That really cooked quicker than I thought. I like the juice, remember? I've turned him off. We just got it completely off. So that should simmer down in a second. That should simmer right on down. Let's try it. Let's get me a napkin. Come on now. Don't embarrass me from my friend's napkin. Look at that. Why can you never get one napkin? What's the deal with napkins? Mama will like this when she gets home, if she's not already eaten, or if she's even hungry. But now this will eat good tomorrow. Let me show it to y'all. Look how pretty. Now that's some pretty soup for a catch-all, throw it in the pot soup. Let's bless this and we'll eat it. Let's try it. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this soup, and we thank you, dear Lord, for nourishing our bodies with it, dear Lord. And dear, we just pray that you'll watch over us, lead and guide and direct us, protect us, dear Lord, and watch over Mama as she travels tonight. Give her road mercy, Lord, we pray. And dear, we seen where someone had lost a brother-in-law, and wife and some boys was left behind, and children. Just be with them, dear Lord, and be with each and every prayer request that's been turned in, dear Lord. And you just pray that you'll answer them all in your time and your will and your glory, dear Lord. And be with those unspoken prayer requests, dear Lord, those in their hearts, dear Lord. We know you know all about them. And Lord, we just pray for your blessings and pray for your mercy. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, folks. I've already sampled, tasted it, just if it needed anything. But I'm excited to get into these veggies, because I just taste juice. That's a good hearty spoonful. Look how hot. You talk about hot. That's hot. That's a hot spoonful. Is it too hot? You'll see when I grab that napkin here. You'll say it was hot. That's what I've been wanting. Just some good vegetables and tomato juice. Boiling in a big old pot on a Friday night. And it's going to be cold this weekend. We'll probably have our first killer frost there soon. Let's try this cabbage. Everything's done. Everything is tender, tender. Tender as your eyeball. It's done. Did good. That didn't take long for homemade soup. Now, I know some of y'all will spend hours over it, and we've got a recipe or two that Mama makes, and she browns the meat and gets it so good on all the sides, and she cuts it up and she adds it back. It's absolutely delicious. It's kind of like spaghetti sauce. There's 2 or 3 spaghetti sauces that we enjoy. One of them includes just a jar. We like that one quite often. But there is one that I make, and it simmers for a couple of hours, and you add a lot of stuff to it, and it just takes a while. But some Saturdays I'm in the mood for that, and I don't care a bit to simmer around on some homemade sauce for several hours. Other nights, I want it all done from start to finish in 20 minutes so I can eat and get on with something else. And that's just the facts, folks. Don't beat yourselves up because it wasn't hard or you didn't do it the way that our grandparents have done it. As long as you know how and you've captured that and you pass it on down to next generations, then you've done your job in the food chain of food. It doesn't hurt to sometimes take a shortcut. It doesn't hurt to sometimes make something almost as good as homemade. Tater tots, as I mentioned earlier, are delicious. So sometimes it's okay not to have homemade. But always try to remember how to do it. And always teach your children how your mama taught you. Because someday those skills may be called back on. We live in a microwave-ready world. And that's just the way life is. But sometimes teaching them how to make the all-day sauce is necessary. But don't ever forget to teach them all of the shortcuts, because those are necessary sometimes too. Y'all do a great job putting food on the table. A friend of mine, we often joke. We were at a conference one time, and they were talking about children not being fed properly. And they said, some kids get cereal and mac and cheese out of a box. And she looked at me, and I looked at her, and she said, he's talking about my kids. And she's a good cook and she can do all those things, but she said sometimes that's really what they want. And I thought, milk and cereal, that's not all bad. And if you feed them macaroni and cheese and they like it out of the box, go for it. Don't beat yourself up over something like that. There's days you're going to cook a gourmet meal for them. There's sometimes you're going to take a shortcut, and that's perfectly fine. Even if the shortcut leads you through a drive-through window, that's perfectly fine. You all got busy lives. Sometimes you just got to feed the children. Don't let nobody judge you. You're doing good. I'll tell you, you're doing good. Kids love stuff like that, and this is the time they can enjoy stuff like that when they're children. Not every day. Don't make that their primary meals. But it doesn't hurt sometimes to take it easy on yourself. I tell people all the time, relax this evening. Relax over the weekend. Do something to recharge your batteries. Come back in Monday morning and you'll face it all a whole lot better if you take care of you. You can't take care of others if you don't take care of yourself. So, you parents out there, you're doing good. You're doing great. Maybe you've not heard it in a while. Maybe nobody's told y'all. But you all are VIPs. You're here for a purpose. Look yourself in the mirror tonight before you go to bed. And you tell that person looking back at you in the mirror, you are important. You are special. And you are here for a reason. Because every bit of that is the truth. You are loved and you're cared for. And you're not alone. You're not alone. You may think, oh, it's just me. We all have Jesus. He's always with us. And we all have somebody. And if you don't have anybody else in the world, you can count me and Mama as your family. And you can join us here. And we try to be here every day. And one reason is to visit with you. We want to visit with you. We love your comments. We read your comments. Now, Mama will come back tonight, and that's what she'll do. She will read your all's comments. We can't respond to everyone. I wish we could. There was a time that we could, and our page has grown, and the comments have grown, and it's hard when you're looking at, 30-some thousand comments. We do read a lot of them. We really do. But we appreciate each and every one of you. We really do. Some of y'all have shared and liked and all that and followed because our numbers went up after we talked the other night. I really would hope we could get to 176,000 before Christmas. 175,000. 676 would be fine, but I told Mama, I said, maybe this year that you turn 75, Coffee Time can't have 175 folks. And she said, maybe, we'll see. So it's just something for us to do, and we love it. And the more y'all share it, the more you spread it, the more people we have in our little Coffee Time family. And we really do appreciate y'all. If nobody else in the whole world tells you that, you are much appreciated here. So keep coming back. I know Mama and I are scattered. Sometimes we don't even have the thing. Sometimes spouses fall out of the cabinets. That's real life, folks. We don't edit. We don't do anything because we're not smart enough to. We can't figure all this stuff out. The last video I tried to edit, I deleted the whole video. True story. So we know how to turn the camera on, and I know how to hit finish. That's it. In the middle, it's just us. It's just us. And sometimes we're going to be cooking. And sometimes we're going to be out in the yard. Sometimes we're going to be in the car. The other night, we were picking up Mama, and you're a part of our family. So instead of just not doing a video, I thought, I'm going to get one of those new pumpkin spice Frosties, and I'm going to let them go with me and see what it's like. So we'll do that little product review. So sometimes it's not the most exciting thing, but it is real life, and you are a part of it. So we do appreciate y'all. And Mama will be back in a little while if she gets back out. This soup will still be warm. But now she'll probably eat tonight, but this will be good for tomorrow. And she got a busy weekend. So it's a good thing she's out relaxing and enjoying herself tonight. Because with church homecoming in the South, well, you've got to get some stuff together, folks. She went today, got all of her stuff, and that's a part of it. That's a part of the process. Got to get your list. You got to gather your things in. Check them off. She's got them checked off. She's ready to go. She's excited about it. I've got my frozen peas here. I'm going to put these back in the refrigerator. Now, I'm going to show you all a little thing that Mama Sue showed the other day. And Mama Sue had seen it somewhere else. And I have seen it before, but I never had really done it. But it looked very easy and very simple. There ain't a thing in here I need, is there? Here's some scissors. That's what I was looking for. So, when you have something like this, and I use half of the piece, thank you, Mama Sue, for the tip. Now, if I mess this up, it ain't Mama Sue's fault. She did it right. So, I think this is what she did. So, you take a V in the top of your bag, like this. Y'all that watch Mama Sue, correct me if I'm wrong. Like that. Now look at that. That makes perfect sense. And you take this little wing and this little wing, and you can just tie a knot in them. Mama Sue would be proud of me. I guess you could tie it again, but look. Isn't it funny when you learn a hack and you look at it and you think, that is so simple. What was I thinking? I'm going to tie it again. That's how good of a hack it is. It's going to be double tied, ready to go back in the freezer. Double tied, ready to go back in the freezer. And it made a nice little tight knot. Thank you, Mama Sue. That's a perfect hack. I love it. Now those peas can get put up before they get unfrozen. Alright, folks. I'm going to finish my little bowl of soup. And I'm going to call it a night. It's 8 o'clock. Here I am, 8 o'clock, eating supper. But I cooked it. It took a minute. And it's hot soup. And it's fresh. Well, I mean, I did get up a can. All this didn't come out of our garden or nothing. It's awful good. And those potatoes that I didn't cook and I didn't peel, they're good in the soup. That's one of those shortcuts that worked out real good. Folks, y'all have a blessed night. As Mama would say, good night to y'all. Bless y'all. Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow. Y'all have a great night. Bye.